Okay, question 5. So for question 5, again, I want you to consider the square root of 25 times the square root of 4. So the square of 25 times the square of 4, the square of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. And the square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times 2 is 4, and 5 times 2 is 10. I can also do it this way. I can actually multiply the radicand, so the number inside the square root is called the radicand. I can multiply them first. And 25 times 4 is 100, and of course the square of 100 is 10. So you can see that we get the same answer. So there is a square root rule, or square root property, that we need to know, which is the square root of a times b is the same as the square root of a times the square root of b. So that's the concept that we need to know for a to h. 5a, the square root of 196. So this is a pretty big number that most of us would not have memorized. But I have memorized. I know that the square of 196 is 14. But if I haven't memorized that the square of 196 is 14, this is what I can do. I can do a vertical division. So divide this by 2. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 8 is 16. Divide this by 2 again to get 49. So this means that 196 is the same as 2 squared. This is my 2 squared times 49. The reason why I start with 49 is because 49 is a perfect square, something that I have memorized already, right? Just 7 times 7 is 49. Now we can break it down into 2 square roots. And once again, we can say that square and square root cross each other out. So we just get 2 times the square of 49 is 7, and 2 times 7 is 14. Right? Of course, we are going to get the same answer here. B, the square root of 225. Again, I've memorized already. 15 times 15 is 225. That's why the square root of 225 is 15. If you haven't memorized this, then you will have to do a division. I can divide by 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. Divide this by 5 again to get 9. So this is the square root of 5 squared times the square of 9. I stop at 9 because the square root of 9 is 3. And you should know that already. Square and square root cross each other out. We get 5 times the square of 9 is 3. So we get 15. Question C, the square root of 900. Whenever I see hundreds, I would definitely take out the 100. So the square root of 100 and then times the square root of 9. Because 9 times 100 is 900, right? And we all know that the square root of 100 is 10. That's why I like to take out the 100. And then the square root of 9 is 3. So we get 30. B, the square root of 1225. I can divide this by 5. So you're allowed to use your calculator just for dividing, not using the square root function on your calculator. Divide this by 5 again. You get 49. So once again, 49 is a perfect square already. So we will stop there. So square root of 5 squared is 5, because square root and square cross each other out. And the square root of 49 is 7. 5 times 7 is 35. E, square root of 1764 equals 1764 divided by 2. We get 882 divided by 2, we get 441. I can divide this by 3, we get 147. Divide this by 3 again, we get 49. So this is the square root of 2 squared times the square root of 3 squared times the square root of 49. So I always like to group the pairs inside each square root. Because now I can say that square root and square cross each other out. We just get 2 times 3 times the square of 49 is 7. So we get 42. And f square root of 44100. So again, there's 100 because of the 20. I'm going to take that out. So square of 100 times the square of 441 equals to 441. We have seen it here, right, from the last question. So I already know 441 can be broken down into 3 square and 49. Right, we have done all the work here already. That's 441. And when you break it down, you'll get 3 square times 49. So the square of 100 is 10, square of 3 square is 3, and the square root of 49 is 7. So we get 210. And then G, the square root of 3136 equals 2. So 3136 divided by 2, we get 1568. Divided by 2 again, we get 784. Divided by 2, we got 392. Divided by 2, we got 196. Divided by 2, we got 98. Divided by 2, we get 49. So this is the square root of 2 square, 2 square, 2 square. I'm just going to put all of them inside this first square root. And then times the square of 49. Because square root and square cross each other out, all of these will just become 2 times 2 times 2. And then the square of 49 is 7. So my final answer is 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. I get 56. And H, the square root of 2401 equals 2401. I can probably divide that by 7. We got 343. So, you should just try all the prime numbers. I tried 2, 3, and 5 already, just mentally, because I know the divisible rule already. That's why the next prime number I'm trying is a 7. And then I'll divide this by 7 again. You get 49. So this is the square of 7 squared times the square root of 49. And we get 7 times 7, which is 49. And that's it. I will go over I to L in the next video. See you soon.